So there's a reason why 99% of the entrepreneurs that start out actually fail. There are multiple reasons for this, but there are two core reasons why this actually happens. And just to quickly share a little bit about me, I'm actually Roy Lammers. I am a multiple seven-figure entrepreneur already, made multiple millions over a few businesses. And in this video, I'm going to really explain every single thing you need to know and that you need to do in order for you to be in that 1% that doesn't fail. So let's get into the video. So the reason why most of the people actually fail at the start is because they don't manage their expectations and emotions properly, and because there are certain subconscious patterns and identity that is actually literally holding them back. So going to the expectations and emotional management, we need to eventually really control our expectations and emotions in order to eventually be more consistent. Because eventually, this is when you start a business, but also if you hop in a new program, if there's something else that you want to be consistent with, because you know it worked, for example, you need to control your expectations. To explain this a little bit better, when someone starts out, I see this all the time, when someone starts out with a new business model, like dropshipping, YouTube, coaching, whatever, another business model that they're going to try out. Oftentimes they have a certain expectation, especially if this is their first business and a lot of people told them like, hey, within 3 months you're going to get this, 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 and this. And a lot of the times this is actually not true. But because these new people, or maybe you, actually really expect that you're going to really get those results extremely fast, you are heightened in your emotions and you have a high expectation of that business model, for example. So if you expect the business model to deliver you 10K a month in 3 months guaranteed, and it's not there, you will be disappointed. And that's the moment when a lot of people are actually quitting and failing, because they set these expectations so high that they will eventually only be demotivated by it. And the same goes with their emotions, because eventually when you sign up and your emotions are here, let's say this is a rational line and this is like negativity, this is normal, and this is positivity and like optimism, then they are extremely optimistic about what they're going to do and how easy it is and all of these different things. So they're heightened in their emotion. But because they're heightened in their emotion instead of just being rational, then eventually they can fall down much quicker as well. While on the other side, if you will just think, okay, this might take 3 months, it might take 6 months, it might take a year, then your emotional management is much better because you're not getting that excited at the start and things are more rational. And then what happens is that you don't bounce back to the negativity and pessimism. And that is actually what happens with these people that have like extremely high emotions. They're so excited. They think they will hit 10K and get the freedom of their life in 3 months. And then after 2 months, after 3 months, they see it's not really happening. Then they're going down and down and down. And here's the rational line. And then they're going down even further into negativity and into like them thinking that it's never possible. And like eventually if you go down, you can really fall really deep. You can really go down a lot. While on the other side, if you just stayed at that level and knew that it might get hard, there might be a lot of different issues, there might be a lot of different problems, then your emotions are managed. And then if these problems arise, or if it's not like what you expected, then it's okay, because you already thought like there will be problems. Because if you expect to go into business or into certain things without having any problems, then you're just setting the wrong expectations for yourself and you will let yourself down every single time. So make sure you set realistic expectations for the business model, for the program, for other things, so that you can manage your emotions better, so that you are in control of your emotions instead of your emotions of you. Because otherwise you are like an emotional roller coaster. And this is especially with female. I'm not saying that like, or actually it is true, it is proven that women have more of a roller coaster with emotions and men are a little bit more stable. And Like, don't blame me, it's research. But like, eventually if you set high expectations the whole time and then it falls down, then you become the roller coaster as well. But it needs to be more stable. And you do this by actually managing those emotions. Don't get too excited, because you can see it as a sort of elastic band. So when there's like elastic band here, you pull it back, and then eventually it goes back, but it also goes back the other side. And that's what happens with your emotions if you set expectations extremely high and it doesn't work like that. Same goes with like a lot of different other things in your business. But another thing that holds people back, so first of all, the expectations, the emotional management, make sure to manage your emotions, be rational, expect problems, then you can be more consistent and you can do things in a longer time. Same goes with, for example, this YouTube channel. I don't really expect anything to come out of it for the first 6 months, maybe a year, and then eventually it will probably take off, and then I will get more and more and more out of it. I can get more people to view my content. But at the start, I'm okay with really having like a low amount of views, because I know that when I just deliver value over time, more value, more value, more value, more people will eventually watch me. In comparison to people that start a YouTube channel and they expect to be monetized and they expect to get like insane amounts of clients if it's like a business channel with a face, and then after 3 months they didn't get any clients, they're almost getting no views, then they're more likely to drop off and not be consistent, because they have so many expectations, it didn't work out like that, and then you're not really consistent the way you want to be consistent. Another thing that really holds people back when they're starting, and maybe even when you are an entrepreneur already for a couple of years, is your subconscious mind. And to explain a little bit more about the subconscious mind, you have a conscious mind and you have a subconscious mind. And the conscious mind is like 15%, like of like the thing that you do day to day, and the other 85% is actually controlled by your subconscious mind. Meaning that if your subconscious mind is not really in line with what you want to do consciously, for example, you want to be extremely productive, you want to perform at your highest level, you want to succeed in business, but your subconscious mind is still like used to chilling and relaxing and not working hard and all of these different things, then it's in conflict. Then your conscious mind need to fight the subconscious mind, and this will eventually cause you to feel certain pains. And how to eventually prevent this is to really making sure that you work on yourself and work on your internal identity as well, because we act upon our identity. So if I feel and if I think I am a high performer, which is my identity, I use it myself, I programmed myself so that I am a high performer, and every single time when I'm out of alignment of my identity, I feel bad. To give an example, like literally when I'm not productive, I'm not feeling well. And so I literally program myself to, when I'm not productive, to feel bad so that I can make a change, so that I can make a difference and change things, because I have that thing. And the same actually goes the other way around. If you feel or you think you are a lazy guy, you can't put in the work and everything, it might be possible that you think about yourself subconsciously like that you are a little bit lazy and all of these things, then it's going to hold you back, because you eventually want to be productive and you want to do the work, and the other side, the 85%, is actually holding you back. So you have that internal identity that is literally holding you back. And this is something that's like one of the biggest things you can do, the biggest changes you can make is change your identity, because the rest will follow. If your identity changes, the rest will follow. You will have the right habits, you will do the right things, you have the right routines, and eventually you just say the right things and do the right things, because your identity is in line, or actually your habits and routines will always be in line with your identity, and otherwise you will feel bad. And that's just one thing that's like extremely crucial. To explain a little bit more about like how to change your identity, I did this with visualization and affirmations. So every single morning when I woke up, I read certain affirmations and I read my future identity. I'm not really doing that much right now anymore, because I already transformed myself. I already have that identity. But eventually, when you are still a certain person internally with your subconscious mind, you need to transform. And you do that by transforming the way you think about yourself, by transforming certain beliefs. And to explain what an affirmation is, for example, every single morning you have affirmations that say like, hey, I am extremely productive, I'm a high performer, and I feel excited and ready to take on the day. If you every single day tell that to yourself, you visualize yourself doing the work, putting in the work, and also feel emotions with it, you can see it as a sort of rock that is on a certain scale. So you have a lot of rocks here, it's like your identity, a lot of different scales. And there are a lot of rocks on one side, but for example, you're lazy. The other side is you are a high performer. So this is the like lazy one and this is the high performer one. Every single time you say to yourself, hey, I'm a high performer, I feel good and ready to take on the day, and you visualize it, you lay a rock on this scale. Eventually the rocks will become heavier and heavier and heavier, and eventually the other side will be more heavier, and then you are that person and you have that belief about yourself. And the more beliefs you change about yourself, the more you form your identity. And that is a way to literally transform your beliefs and identity by just doing affirmations, feeling it with emotion, visualizing yourself being that person, and actually also reading a certain script about who you are as a person in the future and who you want to be. Because if you read that person in the I mode, like I am Roy Lammers, I am this person, I'm doing this every single day, then eventually you will start to believe it and you transform your identity. And when your identity is transformed, everything will become easier. Because if you have the identity of a successful entrepreneur that's always working hard, that is a high performer, then it's so much more easier to actually perform and actually do the things. Because for example, I'm working like a lot of hours and for some people it might not be doable at this moment when they're just starting out, because they're not used to the volume of work, but their identity is also not the person they need to be in order to put down their head and actually really start working that much. And those are the two things that are mainly holding a lot of people back when they're starting out with a new program, with a new business model, whatever. They set the expectations too high so that their emotions are too high and they fall back. The other thing is their subconscious mind is still holding them back, which results in them not being able to work, not doing the right things, and not seeing the right things as well. Because your subconscious mind also determines what you see and what you don't see. It's a certain filter on how you see the world and how you experience the world. So make sure to fix these two things, and it will be a lot easier for you if you struggle right now. And that's it.